You're running UGC ads, you're investing in creators. The content looks good, but deep down, you're still doing everything manually, and it's starting to catch up. In this video, I'm going to break down how manual creative workflows silently kills performance. Not because they waste your time, but because they make iteration slow, scaling harder, and growth unpredictable. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Moses. I'm the founder of DoceDynamics. We help skincare brands launch fast, winning ads every single week without hiring creators, without planning shoots, and without shipping products. Let's be real. Most UGC ad workflows, they're still stuck in the Stone Age. You're probably doing some version of this. DMing or emailing creators manually, shipping products one by one, coming up with creative ideas in a WhatsApp group or a random Notion board, and waiting on content hoping it sticks. There's no calendar, no production rhythm, no structured creative testing, just improvised content creation. That's the real bottleneck, because here's the truth that no one talks about. The biggest advantage in creative performance is speed. And if you're still building ads like it's 2021, you're already behind. If it takes you 3 to 4 weeks to go from product shipment to content delivery to post-production to ad launch, that is weeks of wasted testing time. Weeks where your competitors are iterating faster, learning more, and scaling harder. It doesn't matter how good your content is. If it takes a month to launch, speed will always win. Look at it from this perspective. Let's say you have 2 skincare brands, right? Let's say skincare brand A, they're a team full of perfectionists. They want everything to be perfect. They're just focused on everything just needs to be great, right? So let's say they focus on building their product, finalizing their product. Everything needs to be perfect when it comes to manufacturing, etc. Right? And it takes them, let's say, 6 weeks to finalize the product. Then you've got skincare brand B. Skincare brand B, they're all about speed. They don't care about perfection. They care more about iterating as they go, perfecting as they go. They test 6 products in those same 6 weeks. They test a new product every single week. And so within those 6 weeks, skincare brand A have tested 1 thing, while skincare brand B have tested 6 things. Now, who do you think is going to receive faster feedback? The skincare brand that tested 1 thing in 6 weeks, or the skincare brand that tested 6 times that amount within the same amount of time? Skincare brand A, if that doesn't work for them, then they're going to be thinking, what did we do wrong? Because we spent all of this effort perfecting it, but eventually it didn't, we didn't turn out to get the results that we had expected. While skincare brand B, they, like, every single time they test, they know what not to do. And then they know the next week what not to do, another week what not to do. And eventually they will, they'll have so much data, so much feedback that they'll eventually know what to do. That's the bottleneck that I like to call speed to market. Now, the second bottleneck is founder involvement. You're doing everything, or at least managing everything. And the more time you're tied up in logistics, creator chasing, content management, the less time you have to think, lead, or optimize. I'm guessing you became a founder to grow a business, not to play project manager for UGC ads. And so having this manual workflow, it hinders your growth. Your third bottleneck is not having an iteration cycle, because without a system, you can't test properly. 1 ad may go live this week, another 2 show up next month. Maybe 1 hits, but you don't have variations to build on it, so you're stuck. Again, great performance doesn't come from one-off hits. It comes from a testing engine that's designed in a way where even in the worst case scenario, you're still winning something. You can't build that on a manual workflow. Your next bottleneck is team burnout and plateaued growth. Because even if you had a marketing coordinator or a team member running things, manual UGC processes, they still burn people out fast. They're constantly chasing creators, dealing with ad delays, fixing content issues, coordinating with ads managers. It's really exhausting. And the worst of all, you plateau, because growth is impossible to sustain without repeatable, systemized creative production. The issue isn't just inefficiency. The real problem is that your creative process just isn't built for scale. Manual UGC workflows are reactive, whilst systemized UGC workflows are proactive. One is chaos and the other one's control. And not just control that gives you the unfair advantage of being able to do more with less effort in less time. Ask yourself, how many hours did you spend last time chasing creators? How often did delays hold back your ad launches? And how many potential winning angles never got tested because you didn't have content on time? It's not just a few hours lost here, a few hours lost there. It's actually real revenue, real growth, and real momentum just gone. And the worst thing is, the longer you repeat this process, the more revenue, the more potential growth you just leave on the table. So if you've ever felt like your ads could work, if the content looks solid but performance feels random, and if you're constantly scrambling to launch, scale, or optimize, it's probably not your creators, it's not even your offer, it's actually your workflow. And until you fix that, nothing else really matters. Let's be clear, the solution isn't to hire more creators. It's build a production system that allows you to remove manual bottlenecks and scale creative output like it's a media company. And here's exactly how. Right now, most brands operate like this. One campaign, one brief, one creator, one delivery, then repeat from scratch every single time. That's the equivalent of baking one cookie at a time. Even if your recipe was amazing, you would never serve 1,000+ customers that way. Instead, think of it like a factory. Product line 1, creators and assets. Product line 2, messaging and ad assembly. These two must be separated, standardized, and repeatable. Now you're probably wondering why. Norris, let me tell you. The reason why is because when production is tied to strategy in real time, nothing gets done. You'd basically just always be reacting. But when separated, you can build each side in parallel, allowing creators to work whilst your strategy evolves. Another thing you can do is standardize your inputs so you can multiply your outputs. You can't build scale on custom jobs. If your briefs, editing, and format changes every single week, your system will ultimately break the moment you try to speed it up. Instead, you can just lock in a few proven ad structures, use reusable creative formats, for example, a testimonial with included B-rolls, a product benefit, anything of that sort, and then pre-design templates your editors or team can follow without guessing. This ultimately removes creative chaos and turns guesswork into output. The reason why it helps is because your brain power should probably go into strategy, not wondering if the next ad should end with a CTA. And by repeating what works, you increase your hit rate over time. See from this perspective. If Nike had to redesign their shoebox design from scratch each season, they'd literally go out of business. Standardization is the key to scale, not restriction. Now, the next part, and you probably already know this, is automate or outsource the low leverage parts. This is where most brands just waste so much time DMing creators, shipping out products, following up for usage rights, coordinating timelines manually. It might not really make sense for you to do any of this. Whether it's an agency, a VA, or a plug and play platform, these parts must be off your plate. Here's how you can do this. You can use tools like Archive or Mini Social to find creators at scale, and then set up a repeatable Notion or Airtable pipeline for shipments, followed by automated reminders for usage rights and deadlines. Because if your $1,000 an hour brain is stuck doing $10 an hour logistics, then you're the bottleneck. You know, I like to believe that creative production should really run like a marketing calendar. Weekly drops, pre-planned briefs, and performance reviews every X amount of days. Why? Because this makes testing consistent, makes iteration faster, and it forces operational clarity. So what you could do is you could just create a recurring sprint schedule. For example, Monday could be your brief planning, Tuesday could be your creator outreach, Wednesday could be your asset collection, and then you could use Friday to edit and deploy. This simple adjustment gives rhythm to your pipeline and ensures that you're never guessing what to do next. Brands who operate in sprints, not chaos, scale faster. The final piece is feedback loop, because if your team is producing creatives but they're not analyzing performance, then they're creating content, not ads. And you will realistically never know what is working, what is not working, why it's not working, etc. Quite frankly, without having a feedback loop, you're literally wasting time and money. Here's how you can fix that. So just track which formats win and which don't, and then log your learnings by segment. For example, testimonial, demo, product solution, etc. And then update your briefs monthly based on performance. The definition of systemization is repeatable inputs and optimized learning. Now, if you're wondering why this even matters or why you should even consider doing this, is because this is where compounding happens. You're not just producing more, you're actually getting smarter every week. Every single week, you're learning what not to do. And eventually, once you do all of the things that you're not meant to do, what day is over? The things that you should do. And that, in my opinion, is ultimately what separates 6-figure brands and 8-figure brands. If you want to grow, test more creatives, and stop wasting time on the wrong work, systemize your UGC production isn't a nice to have, it's the foundation of scale. But what actually happens if we don't fix this? Because while your competitors are uploading weekly, testing aggressively, and scaling within days, you're still chasing creators, planning ads last minute, and shooting content once a month, hoping it lasts. And you might not feel the pain now, but you will eventually. Here's why. Firstly, you have slower feedback loops. When you post ads monthly, it takes 4 to 6 weeks just to realize that something isn't converting. That's 4 to 6 weeks of wasted ad budget, whilst another brand has found a winner in half of that time. And the only reason why is because their testing loop is tighter. The second thing is creative paralysis. When production is effort heavy, you will subconsciously avoid testing new concepts. You feel like it's too much effort to get another ad made. Eventually, this would lead to stagnation and over-reliance on old angles that have once worked. The third thing is competitive decay. Your competitors aren't outworking you, they're out-systemizing you. While you're coordinating a shoot, they already live with 5 new variations. You're busy building ads whilst they're busy buying data. And the last thing is mental clutter. You know, if you're a founder or the head of creators, maybe it doesn't make sense to spend your time packaging, shipping, and onboarding creators. And you probably know this, but every hour you're spending doing that is an hour you're not spending on thinking about growth levels, revenue, or expansion. You're working hard, but just not on the right things. If you look at top brands in the industry, Topicals, for example, and the founder is Olamide, she literally said in a podcast, you can't test well unless you produce well. And that's not fluff. That's just first principle logic, because creative testing only works when production is consistent. Euphoria is another great example. They weren't just making great ads, they were releasing high volume UGC inside structured batches, which is why they scaled. The system gave them speed, the speed gave them winners, and the winners gave them growth. All of this isn't theoretical. It's what top brands are doing in real time. And the longer you delay building a real production engine, the more expensive that delay becomes. Now, hopefully this video helps you in any kind of way. If there was anything that was unclear or you still had some questions, feel free to drop them below in the comments and I'll be sure to reply to them. I may even consider making a video about it.